Hello and welcome to Doubles and Trebles. The Group 1s are coming thick and fast this time of the year with two top-class racers from Newmarket this Saturday in Group 1s, plus one of my favourite races of the year, the Cambridgeshire Handicap 35 runners over 9 furlongs at the Newmarket Rowley Mile racecourse. That is just my kind of party. Before we get stuck into those three races, from an anti-post point of view, on this Monday, the 19th of September, a quick mention to the results from last Saturday, the 17th. A slight profit, but a case of what could have been, really. Phantom Flight was put up of the bet of the weekend at 7-4. He's gone off at 10-11, a shade of odds on, and could only manage 7th. There's no excuses there, but when a horse gets back like that, you do expect better. Barhi did the business, put that one up at 7-1. He won at Newbury, went off about 9-2 in the end for Roger Varian, who had a great day. And the 12-1 selection, Believing at Ayr in the 2-year-old fillies race, hit nearly even money in running before finishing agonisingly close second with another stride or two. I'm sure Jim Crowley would have been on the winner there. Some each way money back there, 7-1 winner. Anyway, 11 points staked. 13.8 points returned. We'll keep chipping away. It's a profit, but we do need to do better. Back to this weekend. Start with the Cambridgeshire. I love the race, to be honest. It's rare that I play handicaps anti-post, but I've had my eye on one for the Cambridgeshire for quite a while. The horse is named Carolus Magnus. I've got a message on my phone to a follower of Doubles and Trebles from, I think it was July the 16th, saying Carolus Magnus would be of interest to me in the Cambridgeshire, and he still very much is of interest if taking part. He is 50-1 for reasons. He's 47th on the list at the moment. There's 35 maximum runners. He should get in, to be fair. He finished last year with a really quite authoritative win over a mile at Newmarket. He hasn't managed to win in 6 starts this year for Andrew Balding, but has ran more than respectively on 4 or even 5 of those occasions of the 6 he's tried this year. So why do I fancy a 50-1 shot? He really likes a Rowley Mile. He loves it, in fact. He's been there 4 times. He's got form of 1, 1, 5 and 2. That's plenty of evidence to me that he likes the Newmarket Rowley Mile. He just about stays 10 furlongs. His last 2 starts have been over 10 furlongs. The Cambridgeshire's 9. So I think that's ideal if you've got a horse that does stay 10 or just about stays 10, can win over a mile, as Carolus Magnus has done, and the 9 furlong obviously is in between those 2 trips. I think he's been crying out for a big field handicap. This is his favourite course. That can only be a positive. He's going to get a big field. He's going to get his course. I think it's going to be reasonably quick ground at Newmarket this weekend. There's still not been a lot of rain. It drains there quickly anyway, and we're coming off the back of the July-August heatwave that's going to get a mention later in this video. Carolus Magnus has been an eye-catcher on his last 2 starts, one of which at Doncaster. He travelled really well, travelled into the race like a dream. Probably got caught on the wrong side of the track that day on the far side before he ran out of petrol a little bit. That was his first try over 10 furlongs. And then he was tried at 10 furlongs again in the Shergar Cup, the Daft Shergar Cup, where he was ridden by an Australian jockey. He was sluicing through most of the field late on there at Ascot in the Shergar Cup. Again, another eye-catching performance. There's a pretty big problem with Carolus Magnus, though, and that's the fact is he has missed a break badly on his last 2 starts, literally sat in the stalls. That may have been a big factor in him being an eye-catcher, if you like, because he's had to come from the back simply because he's missed a break. So I'm not getting dragged in as in being a massive eye-catcher. He's almost had to be an eye-catcher because he's had such a tardy start on his last 2 tries. And clearly he can't be doing that again this weekend. Hopefully a jockey that knows him well will be in the saddle this weekend, David Probert, maybe for the Andrew Balding yard, or Harry Davis. His last 2 starts he's been ridden by jockeys that have never partnered him before. Hopefully that Stores misbehaviour is sorted ahead of this weekend. But it's clearly a factor that is something factored into his price. Like I say, it's 50-1. You might get away with it a little bit. With there being such a big field, they're sure to be going a good clip in the Cambridgeshire 35 runners. They can't help themselves but to go a good pace. But look, put it this way, we don't want him to be missing the break. I'm hoping that our bet will still be alive after 5 seconds after the gates have opened on Saturday. He clearly doesn't have a sexy profile like some of those at the top of the market. Some of the more unexposed 4-year-old types, although he is a 4-year-old himself. But I'm absolutely sure we've not seen Carolus Magnus's ceiling yet. He's on the same mark as he started the season, an official rating of 90. I think he's better than that. He loves the track, as I've already said. He'll be fine on any type of ground as long as it's not extremely wet. And he's been crying out for a big field handicap, in my opinion. He gets a lot of ticks in his boxes this weekend. He's the official bet at 50-1. Win only at this stage. I know that sounds mad, but the much better place terms are likely to be better available later into the week on Thursday and Friday after final deck. So it's 50-1. Win only is about 55 on the exchange at the moment. I've had a couple of quid on that today. And hopefully he gets in. He should be declared. And if he's declared and he doesn't quite get in because there's more than 35 ahead of him on the list, if you like, you will get your money back through the balloted out process. I might well put up another selection later in the week when the 35 runners are confirmed. But I have backed Carolus, Magnus, and I think you should too, to be honest. Moving on to the Group 1 action at Newmarket on Saturday. The Cheveley Park Stakes is the first juvenile Group 1 in the British flat season. 6 furlongs for fillies. The field is no way near finalised at the moment, so there'll be no official selection until later in the week, if at all. Meditate is the anti-post favourite 2-1 for Aidan O'Brien. That would represent a step down in distance for Meditate to 6 furlongs. She was second in the Moygley Stud Stakes at the Curragh a couple of weeks ago. That was over 7, second behind Tahira. Very impressive, as we know, as we've covered on this channel. If she was to make the trip, Meditate, she's a tough nut to crack. What I would note is, before Irish Champions Weekend, Ryan Moore did a bit of a breakdown of his runners for Irish Champions Weekend on Racing TV. It was on their app. And he said that Meditate struggles with the travelling. And I'm not talking about travelling in a race. I'm talking about travelling to the racecourse. That may well be a factor in her career going forward and may well be a factor in her not coming over for assignments like this in the UK from Ireland. So that's maybe one to look out for there. I think that's a bit of a line, if you like, or a statement that's not really been covered very widely. She's a good horse. She's really likeable. She's got a good attitude. She was slammed by Tahira, but there was a long way in front of the rest of the field at the Curragh. A step back to 6 furlong I would see as no problem for Meditate. But just keep an eye on those travelling issues that she had. Maybe she gets travel sick. A lot of us do. Trillium is also in the head of the anti-post markets for the Cheveley Park at the moment. Won a Group 2 at Doncaster a couple of weeks ago. I really do quite like Trillium a lot. I'm not sure 6 furlongs will be a gig in time, although she has won over 6 furlongs in her career. She just looks all speed to me. She's been over 5 furlongs the last couple of times, won both Goodwood and Doncaster. This would be back up to 6. Richard Hannon obviously really likes Trillium. The one I've got my eye on for the Cheveley Park at this stage is Juliet Sierra, beautifully bred, as you would expect, in the Juddmonte colours. Won what looked an above-average renewal of the Group 3 Dick Pool Stakes at Salisbury a couple of weeks ago. That was at the start of September. Did quite a lot wrong that day, or quite a lot didn't go her way that day, if you like. She was drawn wide. She pretty much didn't get any cover at all throughout the race. Probably hit the front a little bit too early on her own and was certainly better than the winning margin of her neck would have you think. Certainly in my opinion anyway. She went off 9-2 joint favourite that day. I think there were some good yardsticks in that race. Like I say, better renewal than you would expect for that Group 3 at Salisbury and a fairly chunky field as well. I think there was about 11 runners. She'll certainly have to step up again. Those comments could apply to most of these in the juvenile Group 1 races. But she's got plenty of scope, this Juliet Sierra, for improvement from what we've seen so far. She was still a bit green, if you like, and inexperienced at Salisbury. I think as she gets more professional with age, I think she could turn out to be a good horse, and this is a good opportunity for her. She's 12-1 at the moment. She'll definitely be of interest if declared to run on Thursday. She could be a lot shorter come Thursday, because if the likes of Meditate, Lazoo and others don't turn up, then she is going to be a shorter price by definition. So don't be disappointed if I'm here on Thursday saying back Juliet Sierra at 5-1 when we could have had 12s. I think it's the right way to go. She's not a shorter turn up herself, so let's wait and see how the field turns out. But she is of interest. The Middle Park Stakes, again over 6 furlongs. Again, it's a Group 1, but this is for the juvenile colts. Anti-post favourite and my personal favourite 2-year-old of the season so far, Noble Style, reportedly has colic, so won't be running, unfortunately. He was around 2-1-ish for this race. Not running. He's unbeaten in 3. He won the Jim Crack. He's not running. Second in that Jim Crack was Marshman for Carl Burke. He was second in the Jim Crack. He's 9-4 anti-post favourite for this Middle Park. Carl Burke is the man with 2-year-olds yet again this season. Comments that could apply to him over many a season in the years gone by. You wouldn't put it past him winning this, that is for sure. Aidan O'Brien, as normal, has a leading contender. Blackbeard, he's already won a Group 1 this season in France, the Mornay. a good performance from him, to be honest. A real game contender, game runner. Won at Royal Ascot as well, Blackbeard. Isn't confirmed as running yet. If he does, he will probably be going off favourite, in my opinion. He's 7-2 currently, but factored into that price is the fact that he may not run. Persian Force is next in the market, very likeable. He was second behind Blackbeard last time. Last time Blackbeard ran. He then ran in the Group 1 at the Curragh, the national... He then ran in the Curragh behind Little Big Bird. The Phoenix Stakes were Little Big Bear, should I say, won by 7 lengths. Cracking horse, out for the rest of the season, unfortunately. But yeah, Persian Force is danced to quite a lot of dancers this year. Is he an out-and-out 2-year-old? Possibly, but he would be a contender if turned up in this. Not definite to run in this. He has got a couple of different options, Persian Force. There's 2 stand out for me at the moment in the Middle Park Stakes. Godolphin's Mischief Magic. He has won his last 3 starts, really quite impressively, including in the Group 3 at Kempton last time. That Group 3 was basically won on the bridle. It was on Haydock Sprint Cup Day. Pat Dobbs actually rode for Godolphin, which you don't see all that often. Won on the bridle. He came wide round the field. He was out the back, pretty quiet. It was really impressive, and he could be a leading player here, to be honest. The second that day was Believing, which I've already mentioned at the start of this video, and I backed her last weekend. She actually finished second in that Group 3 that we've mentioned it here, so the form has already been boosted a little bit. I'm surprised that Mischief Magic is 11-2 in the anti-post markets as we speak. He's more likely to run than 2 or 3 above him in the market. Persian Force, Blackbeard might not run, so I think that's a positive. He's the only run that Godolphin have got left now. I think he's almost certain to run Mischief Magic. So from a trading perspective or a trading position, I wouldn't put anyone off back in Mischief Magic at 11-2 right now. I think he'll be a shorter price coming the off at 3 o'clock on Saturday at Newmarket. Charlie Appleby, while we're on Charlie Appleby and Charlie Appleby 2-year-olds, he's on record saying that he might have an advantage over other trainers with his 2-year-olds, particularly because he's been able to use a private grass gallop at the Godolphin stables in Newmarket, and the public ones haven't been open during most of July and August due to the heat wave. So a lot of horses generally, but 2-year-olds, some 2-year-olds haven't really been able to get out on grass other than at the racecourse itself, because the grass gallops in the public areas just haven't been able to be watered. So interesting, and to be fair, he was right, because he's been mopping up even more 2-year-old racers than ever across the country in recent weeks. He had a couple at Newbury on Thursday, Newmarket Friday, Saturday. He's had a couple at Haydock. He had one in Canada, I think, over the weekend, the 2-year-old winner. So he's in really probably career best form with 2-year-olds at the moment, Charlie Appleby. Mischief Magic, definitely of interest for those out there that want to do a trade. 11-2 now. I can see him being significantly shorter on Saturday. The other one that catches the eye at this stage, although I've not backed either of these, Royal Scotsman. He was 4th in the aforementioned Jim Crack. Beaten a fair way, to be fair. That wouldn't fill you with confidence ahead of this Middle Park. But, as we know, I'm happy to put a line through York form. It throws up some funny results or some funny runs from certain horses from time to time. We shouldn't forget how good Royal Scotsman was at Goodwood the time before the Jim Crack at the start of August, where he won the Group 2 Richmond Stakes in a record time. That was a similar level race to the Jim Crack, both Group 2, similar level of form or horses in behind. So yeah, Royal Scotsman, don't be forgotten in this market. It's 12-1 currently anti-post, but comes with a caveat. He's also entered in a Group 2 over 7 furlongs at Newmarket on Thursday. So he might not run in this. He might step up to 7 furlongs. But if Royal Scotsman is declared on Thursday for the Middle Park, I'd certainly have my eye on him. He's a double figure price at the moment, and that would be of interest. Plenty to look forward to at Newmarket this week. It's a 3-day meeting. It starts on Thursday. I'll be back on Thursday or Friday with more selections when we've got the final declarations, as per the last couple of weeks. But for now, check out Carolus Magnus at 50-1 for the Cambridgeshire. That's where my money's going. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon with more racing and darts content.